few days ago, I was just scrolling YouTube, minding my own business, and I ran into a video by Romain Molina. If you don't follow him, he's one of the only investigative journalists who actually goes after football's most protected institutions and doesn't back down. What he laid out about the Argentina Football Association stopped me mid-scroll. So let me be upfront before anything else. This is not my investigation. Everything you're about to hear is sourced from Molina's reporting. I'll link his full video below, go watch it, but I need to talk about what's in it. Let's start with the hardest part to talk about. In 2021, 5 teenage players from Argentina's youth women's national teams filed a complaint, not with the AFA. They went straight to FIFA's ethics committee through FIFPro, the global players union. Their coach, a man named Diego Guacci, is accused of psychological abuse and sexual harassment of minors in his care. Molina describes threats so degrading that I'm not going to repeat them word for word on this channel. Just know that per the player's testimony, this was a pattern, not a one-off comment. Here's the part that should make you furious. The girls only agreed to testify because FIFA promised them anonymity. FIFA's ethics committee investigated, ruled there was insufficient evidence, cleared Guacci, and then according to Molina, the whistleblowers' identities got back to the very federation they were accusing. Guacci is still coaching at club level, no sanction. Molina says at least 8 women have now come forward publicly, and he names FIFA's chief legal officer, Emilio Garcia, as someone who, per his reporting, spends a lot of time being hosted by South American Federation officials. Now, here's where it turns into a straight-up financial thriller. 9 days before Argentina lifted the World Cup in Qatar, AFA President Claudio Chiqui Tapia quietly signed over 100% of the federation's overseas commercial rights to a company called Tour Proenta, logistics, friendlies, TV deals, sponsorship income. All of it handed over. Who's Tour Proenta? A company that had existed for about 3.5 months, founded in Miami by a theatre producer and his wife with zero background in sports management, and their cut. 30%. For context, agencies in this space usually take 10, maybe 12% max. So instead of FIFA's prize money and Adidas sponsorship revenue landing in AFA's own accounts, it got wired straight into Tour Proenta's US bank accounts. Bank of America, Citibank, Synovus, JP Morgan. From there, Molina traces it into a maze of shell companies, 14 million, 13 million, 10 million, 3 million, split up and layered, and on paper owned by ordinary people in a small tourist town called Bariloche. A bankrupt couple, a decorator, a pharmacist. Actual strawmen paid to sign paperwork. When local reporters started asking questions, those people changed their phone numbers and left town. So where did the real money go? Molina says straight into the lifestyles of AFA's top brass. Tapia started flying around on a Gulfstream G4 Hybrid, paid for by the Miami entity. There are yacht charters in Monaco, and in maybe the most bizarrely specific detail in this whole story, the AFA treasurer's son is a competitive karting driver, and the shell companies were apparently buying his racing karts. Then in 2024, Ferroni, the theatre producer behind Tour Proenta, resurfaces out of nowhere to buy 80% of Italian club Perugia, clearing about $3 million in debt. He does it through an English shell company, owned by a Uruguayan company, funded through Mauritius, backed by a US firm, same web, different country. Italy's federation actually caught on fast and hit him with financial transparency penalties almost immediately. Why is this still going on? Molina's answer is pretty simple. Nobody with power has an incentive to stop it. The AFA moved its legal headquarters to a province with a friendly governor and friendly judges. Journalists who dig into this lose their stadium accreditation and face online harassment. And FIFA, according to Molina, keeps wiring money into unverified Miami accounts because Gianni Infantino needs CONMEBOL's votes and doesn't want South America drifting toward UEFA. Here's the wild part. South American Federation officials already got burned doing exactly this a decade ago in the FIFA Gate scandal, because routing money through US banks is exactly what pulls in the FBI. And somehow, current AFA leadership did the same thing again. Look, I want to be upfront one more time. I didn't dig any of this up. Romain Molina did the actual work. The sourcing, the documents, the years of reporting. Go watch his full video. It's linked below. And it honestly deserves way more views than it's getting. But when institutional football buries abuse allegations and launders World Cup money through a karting kids race fund, somebody's got to talk about it louder. So is this an AFA problem or a FIFA problem? Tell me in the comments.